Do you ever feel like you're striving to grow spiritually, but sometimes fall into old habit? This question leads us to a profound exploration of the 10 deadly sins as gleaned from Proverbs and other verses in the Bible. Recognizing and avoiding these sins can significantly impact our spiritual growth. These sins act as traps, hindering our journey towards a deeper relationship with God. So let's delve into these 10 sins and gain insights to help us avoid these traps and build a deeper relationship with God. First on our list is haughty eyes, a form of pride that convinces us we're superior to others. This pride misleads us into thinking we're better than our peers, a trap beautifully illustrated in the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector from Luke 18:14. The Pharisee, bloated with pride, thanked God he wasn't like other people, while the humble tax collector simply asked for mercy. The humble are embraced by God, while the proud are rejected. Remember, all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Next, we have a lying tongue. This sin isn't just about telling fibs. It's about living a life of deceit. It's about repeatedly lying to cover up wrongdoing or create a false image of righteousness. Jesus warns in John 8:44, when the devil lies, he is speaking his native language. As followers of Christ, we're called to reject deceit and instead align our words with God's truth. We must pray for God to cleanse our hearts so our words align with His truth. The third sin is hands that shed innocent blood. This isn't limited to the act of physical harm, but extends to the harboring of hate and anger in our hearts. Jesus warns us that even these feelings violate the sixth commandment. The Apostle John echoes this in his writings, stating, "Anyone who hates a brother or sister is a murderer." It's a call to action for us to seek God's grace, to view others through the lens of love and reject the impulse to judge or harm. Fourth, we have a heart that devises wicked plans. This sin is about nurturing resentment, envy, and revenge in our hearts. These negative feelings can cloud our judgment, leading us astray from the path of righteousness. It's like planting seeds of evil within us. Proverbs 4:23 wisely advises, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." We should strive to fill our hearts with pure and noble intentions, aligning them with God's will. Let's instead focus on what is pure and noble, aligning our intentions with God's will. The fifth sin is feet that are quick to rush into evil. This refers to those who are eager to cause harm or take advantage of others. Their actions are not only damaging to those around them, but they also lead themselves towards their own ruin. As Romans 13 guides us, we should clothe ourselves with the Lord Jesus Christ and not think about how to gratify the desires of the flesh. This is our safeguard against rushing into evil. Clothe yourselves with the Lord Jesus Christ and do not think about how to gratify the desires of the flesh. Next, we have a false witness who spreads lies. This sin is all about slander and gossip, which can destroy lives and divide communities. God despises these false witnesses because they not only damage reputations, but also create rifts among people. Instead of fueling the fire of rumors, we should encourage prayer and understanding. Remember the words from 1 Peter 4:8, where it says, "Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins." The eighth sin is stirring up conflict among brothers. This sin manifests when we cause disunity and discord rather than fostering harmony and understanding. Proverbs 18:21 warns, "The tongue has the power of life and death." The words we speak can either build bridges or erect barriers. And all too often, the devil uses division as a tool to weaken us. To counteract this, we must strive to avoid gossip, promote reconciliation, and uphold the spirit of unity. Avoid gossip and promote reconciliation to preserve unity. We have lust and immorality. Lust is not just a strong desire, but a force that can lead us down a path of destructive behavior. Jesus warned us in Matthew chapter 5, verse 28, that even looking at someone with lustful intent is akin to committing adultery. Immorality, on the other hand, can corrupt our hearts and minds, turning us away from God's righteous path. It's crucial to focus our thoughts on pure and praiseworthy things. The 10th sin is greed and materialism. Greed, a relentless craving for more, can easily blind us to the true wealth of love, kindness, and spiritual growth. Materialism, on the other hand, tempts us to measure our worth by our possessions rather than our character or faith. Jesus in Matthew 6:24 warns us, you cannot serve both God and money. This means we should not let material wealth dominate our lives and overshadow our spiritual pursuits. Trust that God will provide and focus on eternal rewards. Lastly, we have idolatry. Idolatry is often misunderstood as simply the worship of statues or graven images. However, it goes beyond that. It's about prioritizing anything over God. This could be our work, relationships, hobbies, or even our ambitions. When these things take precedence over our relationship with God, they become idols. They consume our time, energy, and attention, leaving less room for God in our lives. Remember, anything that consumes our time and attention more than God can become an idol. In conclusion, recognizing and avoiding these 10 sins is critical for our spiritual growth. From the pride of haughty eyes to the destructive force of lying tongues, from the violence of hands that shed innocent blood to the deceit of a heart devising wicked plans. Each of these sins can divert us from God's path. Let's strive to align our actions and thoughts with His teachings, rejecting sin and embracing love, truth, and humility. May we continue to seek God's wisdom and grace to avoid these pitfalls and deepen our relationship with Him.